Before the courtroom, there was the road. Part 1 followed Aileen Wuornos from a fractured childhood to the lonely highways of Florida, where survival turned to rage and rage turned to murder. Now, in Part 2, the trial, the execution, the legacy, we step inside the courtroom where America's first female serial killer faced her fate. Through haunting visuals, real testimony, and rare archival recordings, this chapter unravels the psychological storm that defined Aileen's final years. Her confessions, her unraveling mind, and her chilling final words before execution. And stay with us until the very end, because in her own words, you'll hear the voice of Aileen Wuornos herself, in a rare, unfiltered interview recorded just before her execution. It's raw, it's haunting, and it might change how you see everything that follows. January 1992. Aileen Wuornos stands in a Florida courtroom, her wrists chained, her jaw set like stone. After 7 bodies, 7 stories cut short, the state of Florida is ready to tell its version of her truth. The first charge, the murder of Richard Mallory. Prosecutors call her a predator. They paint her as cold, calculating, luring men for money, killing them for control. But Aileen has a story of her own. She says Mallory raped her, that she fought for her life. Her voice breaks through the courtroom like a tremor, part fury, part pain. For years, she'd been the hunted. Now, she stood as the monster the world created. The evidence was damning. Stolen items, ballistics, witness testimony. Aileen was found guilty. The judge's gavel fell like a gunshot. After that first conviction, the walls collapsed. She confessed to 6 more murders, sometimes with tears, sometimes with rage. It's hard to watch her, part victim, part villain. In her eyes, justice and vengeance blur into one. Some psychologists called her psychotic. Others said she suffered from borderline personality disorder, the fallout of years of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Maybe both were true. The media swarmed her story like vultures. They called her the damsel of death, the angel of Highway 75, the queen of the serial killers. To the world, she was evil, proof that even women could kill like men. But beneath the noise, there was a question the headlines didn't ask. What happens to a person when every hand they reach for turns to a fist? On death row, Aileen Wuornos became both ghost and spectacle. Reporters visited. Documentaries filmed her behind glass. She joked, ranted, cried. She spoke of conspiracies, of police profiting off her story, of voices in the air vents. Her mind, fragile as it was, began to unravel. After a decade on death row, she asked for her appeals to be dropped. She wanted to die, to stop the noise. October 9th, 2002, Aileen Wuornos is led into the execution chamber. 7 men's names echo in silence. The syringe glints under fluorescent light. Her last words were strange, almost cosmic. "I'll be back, like Independence Day, with Jesus. I'll be back." At 9:47 a.m., Aileen Wuornos was pronounced dead. She was 46 years old. Even in death, her story wouldn't rest. Books, documentaries, movies, all try to understand the woman behind crimes. Charlize Theron's performance in Monster won an Oscar. But for many, it raised a deeper question. Was the monster she played the same woman who once begged the world to see her pain? She was the face of female rage, a symbol of how trauma can twist into violence, and a reminder that no monster appears from thin air. Every scar has a beginning. Every scream starts as silence. Richard Mallory, David Spears, Charles Carscadden, Peter Seams, Troy Burress, Charles Humphreys, Walter Antonio, 7 men, fathers, sons, strangers on the road. Their stories deserve remembering too. Pain does not justify pain, and yet, ignoring the path that leads to it ensures it happens again. Aileen Wuornos' life feels like a tragedy written in 2 acts, a childhood without safety, and an adulthood without mercy. She became both product and punishment of a cruel system, one that failed to protect her when she was a child and executed her when she became a danger. Maybe the question isn't whether she was evil. Maybe it's whether anyone ever tried to save her before it was too late. When we look into the eyes of a killer, we often search for darkness. But sometimes, if we look closely enough, we see the reflection of a world that created them. Maybe monsters aren't born. Maybe they're made, one heartbreak at a time.
Wondering how you're going to be, at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Are you prepared?
I'm prepared. I'm all right. I'm all right with it.
And how?
I'm all right with it, but like I said, remember, let them know that I know that the cops knew who I was. After Richard Mallory died, I left prints everywhere, and they covered it up and let me kill the rest of those guys to turn me into a serial killer. I know they did, because I was no professional serial killer or anything, murderer, or whatever you want to call it, It wasn't professional at what I was doing.
Eileen,
I did some sloppy work, and I left
How
prints.
have you prepared yourself for tomorrow morning?
I'm all right with it. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Hey, I was tortured at BCI. They had the intercom on in the room, and they kept lying that it wasn't on, and they were using sonic pressure on my head since 1997.
Sonic pressure.
And every time I was trying to write something, I think they had some kind of eye in the cell, I'm not sure, but every time I started writing something, it went up higher. So I'm thinking that probably had the TV rigged. The TV or the mirror, something was rigged. They got a huge satellite on the compound. After they put the huge satellite on the compound, it could have been either rigged to the TV set or the mirror or something, because the electrician, when he put the mirror on the wall, he said, "Doesn't that look like a computer?" The back of it, and they stuck it to the wall.
And do you think, did that affect your mind, do you think?
Huh?
Did that affect your mind in some way, the sonic?
It was crushing my head, and they were using sonic pressure continually. Then when I had 3 meetings with Miss Villacorta on it, every meeting I had, she increased the pressure of the volume of the comm, increased the harassment on the floor, increased the trays being inedible, just increased every bit of my complaints and trashed all grievances. They're trying to make it look like I was crazy at all times, rig up the room with torture. If I said anything about I think their whole plan was to try to make it look like I was totally crazy, and so nobody would believe anything I had to say about anything, and then drive me there if they could. I suffered so bad. I was really struggling to survive. Had a lot of trays that were attempted murder and everything. I had to wash all my food off. And then one day I didn't wash my food off, and I was sick for 3 weeks, almost died.
But you're okay now.
I'm okay. I'm okay. God is going to be there. Jesus Christ is going to be there. All the angels and everything. And, whatever's on the beyond. I think it's going to be more like Star Trek, beaming me up into a space vehicle, man. Then I move on, recolonize to another planet or whatever. But it's whatever's the beyond. I know it's going to be good, because I didn't do anything as wrong as they said. I did the right thing. And I saved a lot of people's butts from getting hurt and raped and killed, too.
So are you saying that you killed in self-defense or in cold blood? Because you've changed your story. I'm just trying to
What are you talking about? Change story on what?
No, about whether it was self-defense or not.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to get in depth about my cases, Nick. I'm on my way to the chamber. Nothing stopping it. You can believe it or you don't have to believe it. That's up to you, man. Put a big question mark on your film.
What more is there to say about the cops? What more do you want to...
Have my appeals right. You sabotaged my ass, society, and the cops, and the system, A raped woman got executed and was used for books and movies and shit. Ladder climbs, re-election else. I got a big finger in all your faces. Thanks a lot. You're an inhumane bunch of fucking living bastards and bitches, and you're gonna get your asses nuked in the end. And pretty soon it's coming. 2019, Iraq's supposed to hit you anyhow. You're all gonna get nuked. You don't take fucking human life like this and just sabotage and rip it apart like Jesus on the cross and say thanks a lot for all the fucking money I made off of you. And not care about a human being and the truth being told. Now I know what Jesus was going through. They've been trying to tell the truth, and I keep getting it stepped on. Concerned about if I was raped, I'm not giving you book and movie info. I'm giving you info for investigations and stuff, and that's it. We're going to have to cut this into